Hello and welcome to Footy Judge Mo. I'm late because I was listening to Turkish, to be honest, on the Big Six. What a monologue, what a talk by Turkish, to be honest. I'm sure some of you were watching the Big Six and I was waiting, I was enjoying, to be honest. But I'm here today. Big up everybody that is joining me. Thank you so much for tuning in to Footy Judge Mo. I'm here to preview the Premier League with you. Send me your questions because I'm here to debate them. I'm here to discuss them. Send me your questions in a super chat or not. But the first thing to do is hit that like button. We'll talk about the Manchester Derby. We'll talk about Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, easy games at home. Sheffield United, Brentford, and Nottingham Forest. Spurs play tomorrow with Crystal Palace away from home. Can they stay top 40 people right off the bat? I did not watch Liverpool in the Europa League, but I was actually about to watch the highlights, but I was doing the show. I'm here to preview the Premier League with you. So big up everybody. Hit that like quickly. Everybody that is, we have over 40 people in here. Hit that like button. Get me right away to 40 likes because I'm sure you have now. The like button's underneath your live chat. But we're here to talk about Premier League after Champions League, of course. Big win for Manchester United, massive win for Arsenal. People wanted to take negatives, and I only took the positives. Only Odegaard, maybe, but hey, the team won. Manchester City win again as the young boys with lots of chances with Haaland's fantastic goal as well. And who else? Absolutely, Arsenal this weekend. It's the week when they go back on track. Back on track, of course. This is it. I think this is the game where Odegaard gets his confidence. But I'm going to talk about Arsenal, but I want to start with the Manchester Derby, of course, because it's the big game. I was on El Ahwa yesterday. I heard a lot of talk. Hey, Egal, guys. Egal, of course, talks football, of course. Egal, big up Egal. Go give him a subscription. It's a simple type on YouTube. It's called Egal Talks Football. And that's it. Simple. Give him a subscription. Brilliant content creator, of course. Egal, a brother, a younger brother for me, a friend. I can call him a friend. So thank you, everybody that has joined me, of course. And we're here to start. It's the Manchester Derby. Everybody, over 50 people, let me know right away what is your score prediction in the chat. Everybody, spam the chat right now. What is your score prediction for the Manchester Derby? Of course, please do so we can get. Come on, just do that in the chat right now. Let me know what's your score prediction. But let me tell you what I think about the game. Believe it or not, believe it or not, let me just tell you, Manchester United are coming from 3 wins while Manchester City are coming from only 2 wins. Who is in a better form? Who is in a better form? Big up everybody that joined me. 60 people, hit that like button. However, Manchester United, in my opinion, I won't bet on them to win the game. I say Manchester, everybody has a chance in football. You know me, I always give everybody a chance. I actually think that this game, even more than last season, right? Manchester City should go to this game very confident. No question. I don't care if they concede a goal. The thing about it is that Manchester City people, they will create chances. They struggled a little bit with creativity. However, Doku was good. Jack Grealish was good. And young boys were sitting back as well. I think they will create enough chances to outscore Manchester United, if we can call it that. If you can say Manchester United will score goals because Manchester City concede, I am telling you that Manchester City will create enough chances to outscore Manchester United. I don't see the future, and I do not claim to see the future. I don't claim that, but I'm just looking at the signs. Manchester United against Copenhagen conceded tons and tons of chances, probably 3 or 4 chances, if I'm not mistaken. The header, the shot, the penalty at the end. You say it's a penalty or not a penalty, but Manchester United conceded a penalty the game before. But the fact is, Manchester City are coming in. People said creativity or not creativity, but let me tell you, last game against Young Boys, away from home, Jack Grealish was deprived from two. Egal, you want to join? I will send you the link. If you guys want to watch Egal, I will send you the link, Egal. Of course, you can get a co-host if you want. Yeah, I can get a co-host. You guys want to see Egal? Say yes or no in the chat. Let me know because I'll have to. I'll have to absolutely. We'll talk Arsenal, of course, but yeah, I would love to have Egal on the show. It's gonna be his debut. I'm sending him the link. Just give me a second if he wants to join. Since I'm here doing this on my own, of course. I just sent Igal a link. Let me know in the chat. Do you want Igal or not? Yes, maybe. Someone said maybe. Get Igal. I'm getting Igal on. He's here. He's just going to waffle, someone says. But guys, can by the time Igal gets here, I want to see 50 likes. 50 likes is the minimum for this show. 50 likes. Hit that like button. Get us more people watching us. Get us more people watching us. Send us super chats to support us if you can. If you want to get a question, if you want to get involved in the conversation. I'm gonna continue. You guys don't like me solo. By the way, I see you. You don't like to watch me solo. Do you think I waffle a lot? Do you think I don't know football and you want Igal on? Wallahi, you kind of like you hurt me. You know that. You literally hurt me. You're asking for Igal to be on because you don't want to watch me talk about the games. Wallahi, you guys are frauds. You tune into my channel and then you don't want to watch me talk. Oh, you're just watching the big six. Wallahi, this is. It hurts. It hurts. When Igal comes here, I'm not saying a word. It's his show. Wallahi, you guys, frauds. You're not even liking the video. You like the guests. Yani, this is. You hurt my feelings. It's 12:30 UK, 6:30 here. And you guys, wallahi, this is ridiculous. Footy Judge Mo is the own co-host to his own show. Probably. Hamza's here as well. Hamza's in the chat. But anyway, thank you everybody that is watching us. Listen, I'm gonna keep talking about the Manchester Derby until Igal comes here. Oh, he's freaking here. He's here to talk. Let me just fix the overlay, of course, so he can. It's a good overlay right here, and then here we go. Two people, and Igal is here. He is here. Welcome to the channel, number one. It's your debut, so thank you so much. People, hit the like for Igal. Listen, I know you want to talk about Arsenal. Arsenal section is coming.
No, I'm just here. I'm just you control the narrative, bro. I'll jump on whenever you need.
Yeah. I'm just talking about them. Listen, so I like this to be. I say something, you come in, and then you ask me a question as well. So let's just do this. Okay. I say that Manchester United, no matter how many chances they create, people say Manchester City will concede. I say Manchester City, based on the Champions League game I saw, which is Jack Grealish created, Doku created, Haaland was different. I say Manchester City will create enough chances to outscore them, no matter what.
Manchester City are the better team, but Manchester United have something for Manchester City in derbies at home.
Yes,
that is
this
the
one is
counterattack.
different.
What's different?
I'll tell you what's different. So last year, I'm gonna tell you this, I'm gonna convince you. Last year, Manchester United were very good defensively at home. They were the best defense at home, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
This year at home, they still concede tons of chances. Onana's prone to a mistake. They play under pressure. They don't have Lisandro Martinez. Wan-Bissaka, who's the one-on-one defender, isn't there. So this Manchester United is different than the one that played last year. Manchester City had to dig so deep to get the equalizer, if you remember. Okay. And Jack Grealish scored it. I think Man United are wide open in the back. And Erik ten Hag, at the moment, doesn't sit back, doesn't do banks of four. And he was not going to do that. Last year against Man City, they just sat back and hit counterattack. Do you believe that Erik ten Hag will set his team up as deep lines, defending deep for Manchester City?
He'll have to. He'll have to resort to playing more defensive. And to be honest, he did somewhat play a little bit more defensive when he came to the Emirates. They respected us and they knew that they were not going to be able to play the way they wanted to play. They held on to the ball very well. Onana and the defense did a good job not allowing us to press them too much and cause too many mistakes. So I think the key to their game this game is going to be when they do have possession to get it quick to Rashford and to get it quick to the people who are the danger men, and they're able to catch City off guard. They might be able to get a early goal, and then it allows them to be a lot more defensive later on in the game. So the
What
strategy they're gonna
where me and you disagree is that you think that Man United will sit deep, where I believe that Man United will not sit deep.
they have no choice
I'm
because
I'm telling you what's
this
gonna happen.
they're going to have to change their game plan
They
for
won't.
they're
That's the
going to
difference. Egal. I know what you're talking about. If I'm the coach, I will sit deep. I will do two banks of four and maybe Hoyland even in the halfway line and maybe Rashford defending. Eric Ten Hag didn't do that against Arsenal and isn't going to do that at home. He'll get booed. And
this
he is not going to do that. I know what you think he should do. Can you tell me what he's going to do?
I think this is what he should do. I think he should find a way to have Ericsson, Bruno on the pitch at the same time, and also try to utilize the ability of Casemiro and somebody like
Amrabat. It's going to be Casemiro Amrabat in the middle. We know
yeah,
this.
so Casemiro Amrabat, because if you remember when they beat them last time, 2021, they had Fred, Casemiro in the midfield, and they had Bruno on the right
Yes.
and Ericsson in the middle.
Yes.
So I'm not saying they're going to have Bruno on the right, but they need to have as many people in that midfield that can help. Anthony on the right is not going to help their midfield as much as if they played a little bit different and went for a diamond this game. Maybe this is the game where they can go for a diamond midfield, and then they'll have the defensive solidity plus the ability to counter with Hoyland and Holland up top. Because I don't trust I don't trust anybody uh, on that right flank besides them just changing the formation to that diamond midfield. And this might be the perfect game for that. Now, when we talk about their tactics this season have been terrible because they don't have the personnel to play attacking football, but they do have the personnel to play counter-attacking football.
But they aren't playing counter-attacking football.
I know.
That's astonishing. It's astonishing, huh? It's ridiculous. How is a coach have everything to play counter-attacking football? But also he has a goalkeeper that will allow him to have the ball. We know that Eric Ten Hag isn't gonna play on isn't gonna press on Pep. However, Onana with Inter is different than Onana with Manchester United. Onana with Inter, there were outlets. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, Barella in the middle. This Manchester United team, if Manchester City go and press Onana, he's going to just lump it forward. It's going to look like a De Gea. Does that make sense? Lump it forward to nobody. Because I don't think Man United can challenge.
It's because of injuries. Because Harry Maguire and Varane are not trusty outlets. That's the issue.
But you're not going to pass to the center backs. The whole point is to outlet is the midfielders. Who is in the midfield can receive the ball in tight spaces, turn, create something? I don't think anyone. That's my biggest problem. Even Amrabat, by the way. Amrabat likes to get the ball from the back and drive forward. He isn't the guy that will receive the ball with the back to the opponent and turn somebody. That's the difference between like Inter's players. We were like trained to this. The players were trained to this. Like I don't know who else. Ericsson has gone so weak. Someone is saying Ericsson. He is so weak lately. Like he still likes to receive the ball with him
facing to their midfield.
Yes, because he controls that tempo of the game. But
he's the only person who can retain possession for them.
That's but also that's not under pressure. Ericsson cannot retain position under pressure. He can't.
But Jorginho, they said the same thing about Jorginho for Arsenal, and he did a really good job versus Man City. I think let's not overthink it here. Manchester City is going to come there and have majority of the possession. Manchester City is going to create majority of the chances. It's going to be on Manchester United to be clinical. They need the best. They need the best finishers on the pitch. They need and their midfielders. They need to be compact. They need to, and if they're not going to play counter-attacking football, what they'll need to do is they'll need to recycle the ball and not have players on the pitch that cause them mistakes, like Mason Mount, like Scott McTominay.
I actually think this is Mason Mount's game.
What?
I actually think Mason Mount should play.
Really? In
Yes, I'll
what
tell you why.
position?
In the midfield, I actually think that it should be Bruno, Mason Mount, Casemiro, Amrabat, Hoyland, and Marcus Rashford. The reason why I'm saying that, Mason Mount, hate him or like him, he has energy. He can run. He can hack. You know what I mean. Like he can hack a player. He's not an easy opponent to play against. People say Mason Mount is this. Mason Mount doesn't have an output in this game. You need the output from two players, from Hoyland and Marcus Rashford. Everybody else is all about the energy. It's all about being in the right place at the right time. That's it.
What about
Everybody else
what
should
about
be
Bruno?
Bruno, Mason Mount, Casemiro, Amrabat in the middle. That would be my
That your
lineup.
diamond.
Diamond or not Diamond or Bruno on the right, inverting inside, coming inside. Not like the personnel where they stand on the pitch is completely different to what's gonna happen. Because Manchester City, they have Gavardiol on the left, and Gavardiol can drive with the ball all the way to the 18. You know that.
Yeah.
Like you have to be fluid. You cannot
Yeah.
say mark positions. You have to have, and I know that Manchester United will not sit deep, Egal. I'm telling you from now, Eric Ten Hag is not going to ask his team to sit deep. They're going to try to do what they did against Arsenal, which is they're going to respect Manchester City. They might leave the ball to them, but they aren't going to sit deep. They aren't going to sit in their 18 like they did last year. You remember in their last year, they had two lines. The second line was 5 yards away from the 18. That was it.
But that's the way you kind of neutralize Manchester City. You play two low blocks and you try to make sure you cut out the supply line for Erling Haaland.
I
You
actually
let
don't think Erling Haaland is the biggest problem. I think the
I
biggest
think it's
problem is going to
Alvarez.
be isolating Alvarez if Jack Grealish plays, if Doku plays. Isolating one of them with any defender because Wan-Bissaka's the, I think, in my opinion, Wan-Bissaka's the only one-on-one defender in that team. The only one, right?
Mm.
Dallo one-on-one against Doku, he will see tough game. Even Jack Grealish, what I saw from Jack Grealish, listen, I am one of the people that criticize Jack Grealish every game. In
Okay.
that Champions League game yesterday, the amount of directness he had, he was taking the ball, driving at defenders, trying to dribble, trying to create chances. He wasn't trying to keep the ball. He wasn't trying to pass back. Imagine if both wingers for you, Jack Grealish and Doku, do that. I don't know where Foden is gonna play. I don't know where Bernardo's gonna play. I believe it's gonna be Kovacic and it's gonna be Rodri in the middle. I think John Stones is gonna play. He might invert. But I'm thinking, so let's move on to Man City a little bit.
Yeah.
Guys, everybody, can we get we're almost 90 people here and we're just starting.
That
So
like
give me please the like button higher a little bit. Let's get to 80 likes. If Foden play right winger and Alvarez play behind Haaland, do you think Bernardo Silva can play in that midfield if John Stones invert next to Rodri and go back to the box midfield with Alvarez, Bernardo, Rodri, and John Stones? Do you think that is the thing that they're gonna do tomorrow, Sunday?
Rodri will allow them to have enough security where they can play Bernardo Silva next to him and be more of a deep line playmaker. I seen it. He can do. It's just the question is who's going to play in the City back line and how are they going to play that City back line? Because if they play John Stones as a second like defensive midfielder, they don't really need Bernardo Silva to be a deep line playmaker. He has
No,
more
he's gonna be
freedom.
higher on the pitch.
Yeah, he's going to be much
I
higher.
believe it's gonna be Gavardiol, Nathan Ake, Diaz, and John Stones in the back. No, sorry, Kyle Walker.
No Kyle
Sorry,
Walker.
Gavardiol, Kyle Walker, Diaz in the back. Ake is gonna take bench. John Stones is gonna invert next to Rodri. Alvarez behind Haaland,
John Stone's going to be left back.
right back.
But then Kyle
Kyle Walker
Walker
is
is.
gonna be center back. He did it already. I think he
Oh,
did it
so
last year. I think he did it.
oh,
Sorry, he did it last game. So last game, Stones from the heart of the defense ran into the 18 next to Rodri, and Kyle Walker tucked inside to be a center back next to Diaz. Does that make sense to you?
yeah.
I think that's what they're gonna do because Walker is the one that is gonna stop the counter attacks. It's gonna be Walker, Stones, Diaz, and Gavardiol. John Stones is gonna leave that defense, go be a midfielder, and then it's gonna be three in the back, like last year. But it's the other way. Walker cuts inside, comes inside from fullback, and John Stones pushes higher on the pitch.
I really do believe it just comes down to if Manchester United play Anthony or if they play Bruno on
Do
that
you
position.
think Pep cares if they play Anthony?
No, because they need that extra person in the midfield to help them out massively. Because if they go with Anthony, they're limiting the number of people they're going to have in the midfield. Manchester City are going to outnumber them in the midfield, and it's just going to be a situation where they pass their way through to an opening chance for Holland. Where if they have that extra person in the midfield, it can cause them. They can go back to what they were doing last year, which is if they get a goal or they get an early opportunity, they can shut up shop and have the outlets.
Yeah. I
So
think the
that
only
that
outlet that
extra,
you have is Hoyland on Diaz. If
yeah.
they sit Hoyland on Diaz, I think physically he can get something. So
And
before I move
Rashford is clinical. He needs to be more clinical. That's that's
on, Kyle
that's what it
Walker is
is.
gonna eat him alive. Let's just establish that, right? Kyle Walker is gonna eat him alive.
On his day, Rashford is their most threatening attack.
What is his day? Only England game.
When I
The
seen him
only
live,
England.
every time he touches the ball, he was the threat.
Yeah,
It's
but
just
when did you see him live?
at the Emirates. What this season?
This game. He
This
was he
season,
was dangerous. Maybe
yeah.
because you left a lot of spaces for him. But I believe that Kyle Walker is gonna eat him alive, in my opinion.
I don't think Kyle Walker is going to be one on one with him the whole game. I think it's going to be a situation where Kyle Walker is going to leave him space, and then when he gets close to when he gets close to the box, that's when he's going to be tight on him.
Maybe, but I think actually the problem with Man United, if they sit deep, is that they're not going to have enough time to pick the right passes. It's going to be Bruno Fernandes if he has time. I don't
That's true.
think Amrabat can play the long ball. Bruno can play the long ball, but I don't think they're going to have enough time to
But
even
the
turn.
only way Manchester United win this game is if they keep it close, low scoring, cagey game, and they smash and grab a win.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, I believe so, but
That's
I
the
don't.
only method of winning.
I get what you're saying. That's what you think they should do. I actually don't think they're going to do this. The kickoff, Man United are gonna try to press high, and then they're gonna retreat, and then gonna try to press. And every time they're gonna have the ball at Onana, they're gonna slow the game down. They're gonna slow the game down. But before
Yeah.
we move on, I want to ask you a question. It's gonna be an awkward question I ask on my show. Who do you want to win and why?
I want Manchester United to win because I genuinely believe we need Man City to drop as much points as possible so Arsenal can try to win this Premier League. But my honest belief, I think it's going to be a close game, and I think it's a pick 'em. I think it's more of a close game than people think. I think everyone's talking about this game like Manchester City are
No,
going to
I think
smash.
it's gonna be 2 goals or 1 goal, 2 goals
Yeah,
max, 3-1 max, and at the end because I have a scenario in my
consolation goal.
head. I have like your goal at the end. I have a scenario in my head, or Man United at the end try to get the draw or something, push everybody forward, counter attack, you get hit, it looks like a 3-1. That's how I see it, to be honest. That's how I see the game.
I don't think Man City is going to lose, but at the same time, I don't think Manchester United is going to get embarrassed. So I think Manchester City is going to win. But if I could have any result go my way, I'd want Manchester United to beat them.
Me too. I want Manchester United to win. No, no, not really. No, I want Manchester City to win because I believe title race and everything for you. Yes, I want Manchester City to win title race and stuff. But yeah, Man City for the win. Guys, over 110 people here. Can we get the likes to 100 people? Come on, people. Just subscribe to the channel if you're new. Share this on your socials. It's a brand new channel. And can we get to like 3,000 subs or something? I'm stuck on this 22 something. Come on, just people. I'm doing content every day for you. Uh, Arsenal. Can I first get your quick impression about the Champions League game?
It was a cagey game, and Sevilla are not even trying to stay in the Champions League, bro. They want to drop down straight to the Europa League. Everyone can see it. It was a good game though. We did well at the end. It was poor to start with. We scored the goal. We could have scored an opening goal in the first couple of minutes with Martinelli's miss, but then but then Jesus does an amazing spin, opens up the whole defense, and then we get the goal. Raya was shaky. Odegaard was poor. Bukayo Saka didn't have his best game, but luckily we had Declan Rice, Tomiyasu, Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus to carry us that day. Those four guys were immense.
Yeah. I'm just laughing at a comment. Andy is saying Mo can't stand United. He always say he wants City to lose for the sake of the league. Now it's against Man United. I want Man United to lose. I'll tell you the difference. Me, when I started watching the Premier League, I hated the dominance of Man United. like 2003 when Arsenal won the treble, and then even before that, because when I was younger in '94,
We never did the treble.
no. Sorry, when Chelsea won after that 2 seasons. When I was younger in Saudi Arabia, the Premier League was always Manchester United. Sharp. They used to have sharp years, like Manchester United win. And I hated that. And then when they got Cristiano, it was all dominance. And then after this, like, and this notion of Manchester United fans, and I'm sorry, Manchester United fans, I have nothing against you personally. You keep saying you're the biggest club in the world, and all your basis is that we have the biggest fan base and we make the most money. That's not how you become the biggest club in the world. I'm gonna ask you certain questions and you can answer me. How many Ballon d'Or winners you had in the history? How many World Cup finalists? How many World
Two.
Cup winners?
Wait, they have several Ballon d'Or winners.
They have Cristiano Ronaldo, they have Sir Bob Charlton.
Michael Owen played for them.
Yeah, but he was at Liverpool when he won the
I
Ballon d'Or.
know, but are you talking about winning at their club?
Winning at the club, winning when you're at the club. This is
Okay,
this is
so
a
they
big
have two.
factor, by the way. They have to. But my point is, Manchester United, they compare for themselves. They say, yeah, was like we're as big as Real
They're
Madrid.
up there with Real Madrid and
They
Barcelona.
aren't. Based on what fan base or
No,
based on trophies?
based on the size of the fan base, the trophy
The size
haul.
of the fan base doesn't matter,
One
Egal.
second. European success, domestic success, fan base, and then commercial value.
So, number one, there are 2 points here. Commercial value is driven by the Premier League itself. What happened in '92 and then in 2002 when Sky took over, if I'm not mistaken, that's what drove the commercial part of Arsenal, even Liverpool and everything. I'm not denying that, but my point is that shouldn't be like I'm telling you, like commercial wise, probably Brighton is bigger than Fiorentina. Probably Brighton is bigger than
That
Lazio.
doesn't belittle Manchester
As
United being the
I'm
biggest
not
powerhouse.
belittling them. I'm saying Manchester United, when they ask the fans who's the biggest club in the world, some of them say our club, Manchester
Yeah,
United.
because they believe that. But
That's my point.
it's not true that they're the biggest, but in England they are.
In England, I believe that Liverpool is, for me, I only measure success based on being continuous. This is how I measure success and how big your
No, but
club is.
Liverpool are not bigger than
Let me
Manchester United.
explain to you. Being successful and have not history, have trophies, and win when you are at the top, like I'm gonna tell you, like Man City now, and also continuous. In my opinion, the fact that Liverpool won 6 Champions Leagues negates the difference in like cup games and stuff like that. In my opinion, Liverpool is the biggest team in England. I'm forgetting fan base. When you win 6 Champions League, you're on a different pedestal. Because I believe I know you're an Arsenal fan, but I believe Champions League is the pinnacle of football. When you win Champions League, this is it. Now Real Madrid won it 3 times in a row and ruined it. But you remember, before Real Madrid, nobody won it back to back when it started in '91 when they changed the name.
Liverpool did.
Not in '91, not since it became the Champions League.
Okay.
Real Madrid only did it. But
My
that's my
only
point.
argument, my only argument is this: when it comes to commercial value, when it comes to the clubs themselves, Liverpool and Manchester United, you look at the fan bases. I think Manchester United have a larger fan base. When you look
But
at
I believe you have bigger fan
when you
base
when you
than
look at when
Liverpool.
you look at success, when you look at success or recent success, yes, they've been more successful in the last decade, but Manchester United for the whole Premier League era has been more
2 decades have
successful.
been more successful since '92 until 2009,
This past decade is the only decade Liverpool have been more successful than
and they
Manchester
haven't won
United.
enough. But in my opinion, the 6 Champions League give them a little bit of leeway.
Okay,
That's a
the
lot of Champions Leagues.
6 Champions League might give them some leeway, but the other factors in being a big club, Liverpool don't have that. The
But 19
financial,
and 20 again.
the
Someone won
commercial
19
and
leagues, someone
financial,
won 20.
commercial and financial value, Manchester United, even though they're garbage, are still one of the biggest in the
Yes,
world.
because commercially they are very big.
So these things have to do with your size of your club. This is how my criteria: fan base, success, consistency. Then you go to commercial value and what do you call it? What was the final thing? I wouldn't go tickets or anything.
Trophies.
I've
So
already said trophies.
you didn't
Yeah.
say the first thing
So
is
it's four.
trophies, bro.
So it's four criterias. Liverpool and Manchester United are similar trophy hauls. So you can give that to Liverpool. But then you go to size of fan base, Manchester United is bigger.
Yes.
Commercial, Manchester United is bigger. Even consistency over the
Yeah.
thing, that
Manchester
swings all
United
the
more
time.
consistent.
That swings all the time. But Manchester United were consistent for 30 years, where Liverpool just recently got better.
Yeah. Someone, yeah, Ahmed Suleiman, you gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Ahmed, for the support. If you just become a member to the channel, check out the community to be on a show with me, of course. And if you become a member, thank Ahmed. I want W's in the chat for Ahmed. Win Ahmed. Thank you so much, Ahmed Suleiman, for gifting
Big up
memberships.
Ahmed.
And 689 is saying big up. Arsenal are as big as Toulouse in Europe. I don't know what that means.
Arsenal are still bigger than Chelsea, even though Chelsea have 2 Champions Leagues, for example.
Because
Because we have a larger trophy haul than them.
of the
Even
league
with
titles, not because of the
even
fan base.
1 second, fan bases I think are pretty close now. To be fair, I'll say the fan bases are pretty close. When it comes to commercial value, I still think Arsenal has more commercial value than Chelsea. We actually own our stadium, and we have a much bigger stadium, so that comes into it also. Then you go to, so I've already said trophies were bigger. Fan base were big. Fan base is pretty close. Commercial value were bigger. So the only thing Chelsea has is that they have 2 trophies that we don't have to our trophy cabinet. Like that's the only thing they have.
But they
That
are the
doesn't make them
biggest.
bigger. In that case,
They're
Nottingham
not.
Forest
Do you
should
know
be.
why they're not bigger than you? Because 13 league titles versus 5 is big, is massive difference.
Yeah,
Like in Italy, when someone asks me and I support Inter, who's the biggest club? I say I cannot debate it. It's Juventus. Even though Juventus won only 2 Champions Leagues, but when you win 30 something versus 19 league titles, there's a massive difference. Why you're worried about the chat? Don't worry about the chat. Someone is telling me I'm wrong in Arabic. I don't know why I'm wrong, but can we go back to the football? Forget
yeah.
who's bigger, who's smaller. Let's talk about your beloved football club. You said Arsenal, Sheffield United. No chance for Sheffield. Why did I see Sheffield United? People say that Sheffield United might get something.
Bro, Sheffield United have like 17 injuries. I'm not looking at this game as a game where I'm going into it too concerned. Respectfully to Sheffield United, they've been one of the worst teams in the league. We need to use this game as an opportunity to gain some confidence, get the goals amongst us, and kind of stat pad. Like this is what Tottenham, this is what Manchester City, this is what teams that have good attacks do. They face these lesser teams in the table, and they put 4 or 5 past them. So if we can get this opportunity to increase our goal output, I need to see goals in this game. I need to see an increase in performances. And people keep talking about Martin Odegaard's performances. You know
Yeah,
what?
give me a little bit about that.
He hasn't been performing well in the last 3 out of the last 4 games. Versus Tottenham, Man City, Chelsea, he hasn't performed well, and even in the Champions League, in against Sevilla, didn't perform well. So you could say 5 out of the last 6 games he didn't perform well. The last he performed well in one of those games, which was Bournemouth away. So I am looking at Martin Odegaard and I'm saying to myself, why is he doing this? I think it's because of the link up with Partey, the link up with Saka, the link up with the people on that right side is not clicking the way it used to last year. And he needs to figure out what he's going to do because he's been taking more shots and he's been actually creating less chances for other people. That could be due to injuries. That could be due to Eddie Nketiah being there. But personally, for me, I just think he needs to improve his performances overall, and he needs to stop shooting as much, and he needs to start looking to be that guy who he was the season prior, where he was creating more chances, because he's now turning into a Frank Lampard and less of a creator, that or like a Cesc Fabregas, in my opinion. And I don't know if I like it. I personally don't. I don't know if I like it. He's still my captain. I still rate him highly. It's just his game is more evolving into a goal scorer and less of a creator. And I don't know if this is what the team needs at this moment in time. It may need that when Jesus is not available or when Martinelli is not available. But when they're back, I think him being a creative outlet is more important to us than him being the guy who scored the goals.
Here is the problem with Martin Odegaard in my opinion. Guys, over 130 people here. Can we get the likes up to 100 likes? The like button is underneath your live chat. It's simple. Doesn't cost you a penny, but it helps the channel massively. The like button looks like this underneath your live chat. Hit that like button. Get us to 100 likes. Here's my problem with Martin Odegaard that I've said many years. He phases
What?
out.
What?
What I mean, he phases out in the game. He phases out in the game. Like the game goes past him because he is not someone who goes and asks for the ball in every area of the game, in every
Yeah.
part of the pitch, because he's limited a little bit to play on that right side. So he's having that area as his. So when the ball is on the others, the difference between him and a number 10 like James Madison, for example, is that James Madison is free. And Postecoglou told him, do whatever you want. So he goes and asks for the ball
So
to
are
the
you
left.
blaming
Right?
Arteta? Because I think he's
I am
fully
not. I'm blaming Arteta for one. I'm coming to you. The problem is also he's not looking as good because he doesn't have an 8 like Xhaka, who used to help Martinelli a lot. I believe, and I said that yesterday, if you play someone like Zinchenko in that 8, who plays that in Ukraine, I think Zinchenko, by the way, offensively, he's not bad. You agree or no?
Yeah, no, he's not bad offensively at all.
So that means you play him as an 8 on the left, you release a little bit of pressure on Odegaard because the oppositions know that every ball has to go through Odegaard. He's the only creative player in that midfield. You don't have another 8. Xhaka last year used to help Martinelli a lot on that left side. A lot. He used to be. I remember Granit Xhaka used to do overlaps and let Martinelli have an isolation with the defender sometimes. That's what you don't have now. You need an actual 8, and it's not going to be Declan Rice. Declan Rice can be one of the best DMs in the league. Physicality, passing. I think he has vision. Forget Thomas Partey. I know Thomas Partey is your best defensive midfielder. He's not available.
So
Why
you
the
think it's a
experimenting?
midfield problem? You
I
know
think
what,
it's an
Partey,
8
bro?
problem.
If I speak about Partey, the fan base is gonna block me again because I had
Why?
200 Arsenal fans block me the other day because I said Thomas Partey, this guy needs to be sold. Like
100%. If someone is injured all the time, he needs to be. So why people don't like? If I have a player that is injured all the time on my club, freaking sell the guy and get somebody else.
But
He
bro,
should have sold him in the summer for 40.
there's a big West African contingent who love Thomas Partey and support him because not only
And I know
is
you
he
like Thomas Partey as well.
also his national big Ghanaian supporters a big Ghanaian contingency who support Arsenal back him as much as they back the club. So it's like it's a situation where people are on Camp Partey and they want Partey starting and they criticize the manager for Partey not starting, even though we're winning games. And it's like at this moment in time, how many games has he missed already this season? Like I can't name too many games
6.
that Thomas Partey played.
6.
It's very annoying.
Did he?
He's played 4 games in the Premier League.
And
Like
you played
what are we
9. So
talking
he
about?
missed 5 in the Premier League and he missed 1 in the Champions, 2 in the Champions. So he missed 7 games out of 12 games you
Oh,
played
he
this
hasn't
season.
played a Champions League game.
So he missed the 3 Champions League games you played and 5. So he missed 8 out of 12 games. This is a syllable offense.
Bro,
And
it's
I'm sorry.
annoying.
And I'm sorry. He isn't. Thomas Partey is as important as everybody else. But I believe Declan Rice can do a sufficient job in that DM if you play somebody else as an 8. Just do that.
And we might not have that 8 at the club right now.
You
We
have
can still
Zinchenko.
buy
You can
players.
try Zinchenko.
But one thing I'm gonna say is I still believe this team has the squad depth and the quality. Now I'm not saying throw Thomas Partey out of the team and don't play him. If he's available, you play him because he's still very good quality of a player. And he's 30, even though he's 30 years old and he's always injured. When he's available, he can make a difference like he did against Manchester City. So you play him. But in the future, we need to figure out what we're gonna do in the future.
I actually disagree with you.
This team right now, Mo, the problem has not been Odegaard. The problem has not been the midfield. The problem has been the attack has not clicked into gear. And the reason why I think the attack has not clicked into gear is because we've had so much changes in the team, and similar to how City were basically figuring themselves out. That's what we're doing this season. We're starting slow with our attack, but even though we've started slow with our attack, we have the second best defense in the league. We've scored 18 goals, which is yes, it's far off from Newcastle, but let's not forget Newcastle scored 8 goals in one game. If we score 6 goals past Sheffield United, guess what? We're back up at the top of the table for goals scored. So it's small margins, but really and truly, the attack has been the issue. We're 16th in chance created in the league. That's terrible.
Whose problem is that?
To me, that is mostly on how we have organized the midfield and the fact that our attack has not been clicking. Saka has our most chances created. He's been outstanding. Odegaard has been extremely poor with his chance creation. The midfield of Havertz and Declan Rice, those two don't really. Declan Rice has actually created more chances than Kai Havertz, and it's just like I'm looking at Arteta and I'm saying to himself, he needs to figure out how he's going to do this midfield because he made a gamble selling Xhaka and potentially almost selling Partey. He's trying to evolve the midfield, but we don't have the players. We don't have the players to see us through the evolution right now. We need to.
You're worried about something in the chat. I know that. I know.
Who
I can see
me?
your eyes. Yes. Are you watching the chat?
No, no, no.
No. All right. Good. So
I
I'll
was
tell
looking.
you one of the things you
I
said
was
I
looking at the
disagree with.
stats to try to
One
find
of the
the,
things
the
I,
point.
I I disagree with you. You said when Thomas Partey's fit, you have to play him. I actually disagree with that. Not for the sake of the team, for the sake of Declan Rice. I think if you keep playing Declan Rice in the six, by halfway through the season, we will have a conversation about him being one of the best of the sixes. Because I believe him playing that lone six for England helped him to play for when Calvin Phillips form dropped and he played that lone six for England. I think that helped him. I think if you play Declan Rice as a six and you keep playing him as a six and he's doing well, do not shift him to an eight because he's the only one who can do it. This is what I'm hearing from when I had Brandon and Dawood. Both of them said, but he's the only one who can do it. Well, but
No,
you
we
see
have
Rodri. Do
Fabio.
you see Rodri doing that?
We have Emil Smith Rowe, we have Fabio Vera, we have all these guys. But the only time we're going to actually get to practice and get them the opportunities is going to be against lesser opposition like
Yes.
Sheffield United. So if we're going to experiment against Sheffield United. Maybe give Jorginho a rest and play Fabio Vieira or play what do you call it? Emil Smith Rowe. These are the games where we can give them opportunity.
Listen, people said I didn't rate Rice because I said Bissouma was better than him in the first 8 games. When I say someone is better than someone, maybe someone is 9 and someone is 9.5. Like people think I don't rate Martin Odegaard because I say Madison is better. You know me. In the summer, I'm the one who started and said I would
You
have
rate
picked
players
Madison.
on form, let's be honest.
Not only I always rated in the summer, forget the form. In the summer on the terrace, I'm the one who said I would pick James Madison over Odegaard. And people said you're crazy. I said I just think that James Madison is the better 10.
But I think it was a wild statement to say that in the summer
For
when
you, it was wild. For
no, no,
me,
no,
it
but hear me
didn't.
out. Martin Odegaard just came off one of the best seasons he's had.
15,
He was
20
one of the
something.
best players in the Premier League last season. And if I'm not mistaken, James Maddison was on a poor Leicester side and he just got relegated. So a lot of people were going to say one guy's at the top of the league getting voted for one of the best players in the league, other guys getting relegated. It's the easy pick for some people.
Yes, but for me, I was watching. Number one, the stats are not that far. Someone had 22 GA, someone had 19. So that's what they're not for. And the number two is like I was watching. So now the stats are out of the window. I'm splitting hair here, right? Now I'm going to watch the games. I said that Martin Odegaard is an 8 that does not contribute a lot defensively, and things went
Martin
his way.
Odegaard doesn't contribute defensively.
Not as much as I think an
I
8 should
think
do.
Madison doesn't contribute as
No,
much as Martin
not
Odegaard.
this year. So hear me out.
No, Martin Odegaard has always been amazing
Martin
contributing
Odegaard, actually,
defensively.
you have seen him a season and a half, Egal. I've seen James Madison play 4 complete seasons.
Bro, Martin Odegaard came to us on loan. We've seen 2 seasons and a half of
So
him.
a season and a half. So 2
Sorry,
seasons. You say 2 seasons, last 2
2
seasons.
seasons. Bro, he came on loan 2021.
And then in the January, he came in, and then in January left back or something
Yeah,
like this. So he
yeah.
played
So
2
we've
seasons.
seen enough of
I'm
Martin
telling
Odegaard.
you, I was watching both of them last year. Of course, I didn't watch James Madison as much, but I thought James Madison last year, because he played in a more defensive team, he was contributing defensively. Now, this season, he doesn't have to defend at all. He doesn't have to defend at all. Go check the stats, go up. But again, it's very marginal difference, right? The reason why
What stats are you? What stats would you
go
be
to
looking?
last season, but you can't. Okay, so I'm telling you, I'm watching Madison last year and I see him defending because his team was Leicester City. Martin Odegaard didn't have to defend as much. Does that make sense?
Are we
You
talking about
didn't listen to me.
interceptions,
You didn't listen to me.
clearances?
You didn't listen to me.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
I hear you. Based
in
on
terms
the
of
fact,
tackles last year, challenges, Madison was higher because he played in a more defensive team, Leicester City, right?
Fair enough.
Odegaard was not challenged defensively. You were on the front foot most of the season. You had the ball most of the season.
No, I understand. Based on
That's
that
what I
point,
mean. That's what I meant when I said, but forget the defensive side. I actually think that James Madison, and this year it's proven to me, he doesn't phase out. He's always involved in the game. Martin Odegaard sometimes phase out. You know what I mean? The game goes past him. He's not involved. He's not involved in the game. I know you're watching the stats. That's what I why I chose James
yeah,
Madison. But again, I'm splitting hair here. I think they are both very close. I just personal preference. I prefer James Madison. It's as simple as that.
fair
It's
enough.
you prefer Odegaard. Is your play? I'm looking from outside, and
I
it's
think
not a
if,
hate on
if I
Arsenal.
think if Martin Odegaard changes his form, you're gonna change
I
your
said last year Martin Odegaard is one of the best players in the league. When you are a midfielder and you score 15 goals and had 7 assists, you're one of the best players in the league. I was talking
respect.
in general. That's what I just think that Madison does more on the pitch than Martin Odegaard. Forget the stats, forget the numbers. It's just my eyes. This is it. This is my eyes. But I want to ask you questions. This is the first time here. Before I don't want to stay for long, right? Like
No
just
worries.
couple of questions. Number one, why do people keep telling Arsenal fans that Liverpool are closer to Man City than them?
It's because Liverpool have won the league previously.
You
They've done it.
genuinely think that's it?
Yeah, I genuinely believe that. Plus, maybe they rate Mo Salah, Allison as better players. Because if you were to say who has the best players, who are the five best players in the Premier League, you will make a case for Mo Salah. You could even make a case for Allison. Arsenal, we're gonna find it very difficult to make a case for any of our players as the one of the best five players in the league or in the world. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
because they have those guys that are like level raisers in Allison, in Mo Salah, in such crucial parts of the pitch, people are gonna be like, oh, they have the best goalkeeper in the world, they have the best forward in the world, people are gonna still rate Klopp higher than Arteta because he's won trophies before and they have the experience of winning. People are gonna rate Liverpool over Arsenal because we haven't been able to get over the hump. We have the issue
But you have the best
where
defender in the
we
league.
have the same issue that Man City had before the Aguero moment. They were not considered a club that could win any major trophies until they get over that. So we currently have that issue where we cannot get over the hump until we do it. So people are not going to believe us until we do it.
I actually believe at the moment, and I'm just saying that at the moment, Liverpool are not closer to City than Arsenal. This is fair opinion for me. If Liverpool get a proper DM like a Paulinia in January, I actually think that they are on the same level as Man City, believe it or not. This
Hmm.
is my opinion. I actually believe this Liverpool team this year, with that many midfielders, with the Gravenberch I've seen, right? If they get a proper DM like a Paulinia in this January transfer window, they are on par with City, ahead of you, because you made a mistake. Unless you go get, here you go, see it's coming. Unless you go get a proper number 8. When I say a proper number 8, Xhaka last year, and I'm gonna stand by this opinion, and I'm gonna die on this hill. One of the main reasons you challenged last year is everybody on that machine was doing their job to perfection, including Granit Xhaka, who people wanted out a year before. When you get 14 GA as a left 8, when you have the other 8 as an Odegaard, that's why you challenge. You did not replace Granit Xhaka.
No,
Major issue. You have a defensive 8 in Rice or a very offensive 8 in Fabio Vieira and Emil Smith Rowe. Don't have a proper 8. Who was the best one? It was Gundogan for me. That was the best one for us. If you had Gundogan this year, you would have seen Arsenal even better than the one that we seen last year. But you didn't. There is another one that I said. You could have got Goretzka from Bayern Munich, an offensive player, but also a very defensive player. But you didn't do that. Instead, your manager spent the 65 million on Kai Havertz. He tried to play him as an 8. It didn't work. Now he's struggling. That's why you have Jorginho trying once. You're going to have this. because the only one
Jorginho's still a quality player. Don't
is
make
a
it seem like
quality player, but he isn't good enough to challenge Manchester City like was Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka, and Odegaard last year. These three, remember, you literally had 50 points in 19 games. 50. That's a Centurion level team. And you were like, it's so easy. It looked easy for Arsenal. I kept
listen, we're
saying,
gonna we're gonna need to get 90 plus points this season.
no,
We're
I
gonna need to
disagree.
go as close as possible to being undefeated in order to beat these guys. Because last season, as we've seen, City can just turn it on. When Kevin De Bruyne comes back, everyone's gonna just say, you know what, this is when City go boom. So we need to get as much of a lead as possible. My thing is, Mo, the reason why people rate Liverpool more, I think is because of their attack. They trust the goalkeeper. They trust that
Yeah.
they have quality players, and they look at Liverpool's attack and they trust Mo Salah. They say to themselves, Mo Salah can get them through games. He's a match winner. He can pick up the ball and just win them the match. So I think because they have more reliable players and they have the credit in the bank, Liverpool will always get more credit. Where I think Liverpool will fall short is their squad depth. And as the season prolongs, we'll see if their squad depth can handle this type of this title race.
I actually think that the league this year is going to be won by 82, 85 points max.
If that's the case, we're gonna win it.
Do you know why I'm saying that?
Why?
Because I believe this year there are 9 teams. Every time they're going to play each other away from home, it's going to be tough. Manchester City, without Manchester City, Spurs, Arsenal, Newcastle, Manchester United, Brighton, Aston Villa, Chelsea, and there's one more team. That's it. 9 teams exactly. Liverpool, and I didn't say Liverpool. These 9 teams, every time any of them play anyone away from home, it's tougher than last year. Chelsea are not going to be a walk in the park. Brighton
No.
at their home are not going to be a walk in the park. Aston Villa won 12 games in a row at their home. Newcastle going to St. James's Park is not going to be easy, right? Look at Liverpool. They won the game, yes, but again, Newcastle could have won that game easily. Manchester United, no matter how bad they are, going to Old Trafford isn't an easy. I actually think that this league might be won in 85 points. And it's not, and when you said it's you as well as an Arsenal football club, when you go to Brighton away, it's tough. When you go to Newcastle away, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. When you go to Spurs away, it's going to be tough. That's what I
We
believe.
beat them last year.
But I'm telling you, this year is different.
I hear that.
Everyone, because I think the gap, Manchester City got weaker. Arsenal got weaker as of now. I'm saying as of now. Manchester City,
We've
as
gone
slow
steady.
as people said they started last year, did they lose 25% of the first 8 games? Did you lose 2 games? No, they didn't. Nobody did.
They
When
usually
top,
draw.
they usually draw a game or two, they lose 4 points, and we said they start. So they already lost 2 games. Don't tell me what games they lost.
I'm I'm not worried about what do you call it? 9 teams in the league making the league more competitive. I love the competitiveness because it
Yeah, I
means
like it
other
too.
people are going to drop points also.
Yes.
So it is beneficial to anybody who's in a title race to see less of a points total to try to win the league. So I encourage that. I want Chelsea to pick up points against all these teams. I'm going to be rooting for Manchester United to pick up points. Teams that I feel like are not going to be threatening to me, like even Tottenham right now. I love the fact that Tottenham are doing well because I know they're going to fall off. They don't have the squad depth to compete with any of the top teams at the top of the table. I think when the dust settles, it's going to be Manchester City and Arsenal at the end of the season. Manchester City because they have the difference makers in many different areas of the pitch, plus they have the experience of doing it year in year out. And I do believe Man City are also going to go and probably win the Champions League. And when it comes to Arsenal, the reason why I have Arsenal ahead of Liverpool and Tottenham is because I feel like our defense is just going to be that much more solid. Plus, we have more squad depth than the other two teams, personally. So yeah, people acting.
What is
Listen,
wrong?
I
Which
respect to
one?
my guy.
It's well. I know. It's all right.
Listen, finishing uh outside of Europe for those many years allowed us to refresh and build our squad properly. Now that we've gone from bottling top four to bottling the league, as people say, don't they realize and see the actual progression that we've made as a team? We've gone from a team that couldn't even get into the Champions League spots to a team that was competing for the league to now being a team that's being considered as one or two favorites to win the league in our third season of actually doing anything. So
Do you believe? Are you one of these people that say that if Arteta doesn't win a major trophy this year, he should get sacked?
it depends the circumstance. If Arteta
Context.
if Arteta competes for the Champions League and we get to like the semifinals or quarterfinals or something like that, and then he wins a domestic cup, then that's fine for me. As long as we compete on all fronts, we cannot have a situation where we drop off and we finish fourth or third in the league and we don't win any other trophies and we can get knocked out of the Champions League in the group stages or sorry, it's not group stages, round of 16. That to me would be a failure of a season. If we don't win anything and we don't even compete for anything, would be an absolute failure of a season. Then we're gonna have to have discussions of Mikel Arteta, because I do feel like this team minimum should be competing for one of the major trophies and trying to win a domestic cup. And if we don't get that,
I don't care about domestic cups for me.
no. But
For me,
the domestic
look
cups
at
are the icing
Manchester
on the cake.
United. Domestic cups paper over the cracks. Look at Chelsea when they went to two finals. Look at Chelsea in the quad season when they went to two finals, right? Liverpool. And look at Manchester United winning a cup. For me, cup competitions in general paper over the cracks because cup competitions are played game by game. Does that make sense? The
Mo,
plan is game by game.
it's been 20 plus years. We just need to win a major. If we win the Champions League, Arteta gets a trophy. Forget about getting a trophy. If Arteta can win the Champions League or the Premier League, build him a fucking statue.
If he wins the Champions League, you build him a statue. He stays. He signs
Yeah,
a 10-year contract. It's
simple.
over for you.
Wallahi.
10-year contract. If
I think
Arteta wins the Champions League, Arsenal Football Club should sign a
it would
10-year contract with
actually
him.
listen. Winning the Champions League is more luck, but
What
unless you
agenda?
actually have the experience, it's not gonna happen.
What agenda? People say I have an agenda against Man City. I'm very clear. I want a different winner to the Premier League. But that doesn't mean I am going to overanalyze City. I am 100% analyzing
City
every
are
team
still
the
the
same.
favorites to win the Premier League. Let's
Yeah,
be honest.
100% I said that.
Yeah, but you want to know something? Arsenal are never going to overtake them as favorites unless we're like once again 8 points clear with a couple games in hand, because people just believe Manchester City are that much better than everybody else. They've done it for so many years. Until Arsenal do it, no one's going to believe it. That's the issue.
Until you win the Champions League.
No, until we win the league or Champions League, no one's going to believe we can actually win major
Do
trophies.
you believe this is your biggest chance to win the league this year?
Last year was a huge chance. This is our second biggest chance. We messed up last year.
Someone asked me about Everton, so just quick. Yes, I hope Everton get relegated, but I believe they won't get
No,
relegated.
that's
There are three
stupid.
teams.
That's stupid. If Everton get relegated or they get a points deduction for one charge, when Manchester City have 115 charges and they haven't gotten 1 point deduction, this is at this point you're just punishing the poor and hurting the rich, and not even touching the rich.
Yeah, people over 150 of you here. Can we get the likes to 150, please, people? I'm not. I
I'm
know when
sorry, bro.
Egal
It's
has
not
to
fair.
go. I'm almost right. Send your questions. Get involved. Send super chats. Support the channel, of course. Thanks already, Ahmed Suleiman, and thanks for Big Six None who sent the super chat. Salimani here is saying, who has got the squad depth between Arsenal and Liverpool?
I would say Arsenal, because look at our defense, right? You have a situation. Imagine Timber's injured, right? Say he comes back in January.
He
Yeah, and
doesn't.
you have
How
a
does he
fit.
come back from ACL in January?
Imagine you have
How?
a fit. No, he's
Hold on,
apparently
I'm asking
no.
genuinely.
He's supposed to be back. He's supposed to be back for the second half of the season. We're gonna
Wallahi.
register him. Yeah, we're gonna register him in
I
all the
didn't know
competitions. He's
that.
gonna be back for the second half of the season.
Oof. I didn't
The
know that.
injury he has is only the injury
I
he
thought
has
it's
is only
ACL.
no. I think the injury he has is only like a 6 month injury.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Timber injury. Let me check. Yeah, so I just being safe.
Forget that. Let's talk about the squad depth.
Okay, so I think it's a situation where you look at the two teams. Liverpool have the much better attack. I'll just give them that. I'm not even going to compare the attacks, right? I think outside of Mo Salah, Outside of Mo Salah, if you look at the rest of the attackers, I would say Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus are up there and probably better than the rest of the guys. But Diaz and Jota, I rate those guys. Nunez and Gakpo, they just have more
I
squad
like
depth.
Gakpo. I don't like Nunes, but he's playing all right.
They have more squad depth in the attack. I'll give them that. And they have the difference maker in Mo Salah. In the midfield, I feel like we have a much better midfield because we have the two defensive midfielders in Partey and
But
and
Partey's
and
always injured.
I hear that, but we're going based on a fit team, right? So I'm also going to factor in
Based
their
on a fit
Thiago.
team, they have Thiago Alcantara.
I'm going to count it. I'm going to factor that in. So you have Thiago Alcantara. You have who else?
Pajicic, Indo, Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, McAllister, Harvey Elliott,
Okay, let's go best
Gravenberch.
midfield for
That's
best
a lot
midfield.
of freaking midfielders.
Let's go best midfield for best midfield. What do you say? Their best midfield
They
three.
don't have a best midfield.
What is what? So they don't have a
They
best.
don't. They keep trying. They don't have a DM. He keeps trying to play McAllister there, and he keeps trying to play Curtis Jones next to him. Sometimes this next, like he doesn't have, because he is trying. Every time he plays McAllister there, the guy gets run over. You know that. I don't know if you watch Liverpool. He
Yeah,
plays
McAllister
McAllister,
has been
people
poor.
run right next to him.
Szoboszlai has been good. McAllister hasn't really been amazing.
Gravenberch has been excellent for them.
Gravenberch
Curtis Jones
keeps the
have
ball
been
out
very
today.
good for them. Uh, Harvey Elliott has not featured a lot,
Harvey
but every
Elliott's
time
been okay.
has been all right. I think, in my opinion, their best midfield is Alexis McAllister, Gravenberch, and Dominic Szoboszlai. This is their best midfield.
I think our midfield with Odegaard, Partey,
And
and
Rice.
Martin Odegaard.
I think it's more balanced, though.
Okay, and then we go behind
Salman
them.
is he's saying not asking quality. He's asking who has not the like he's saying who has the depth to compete. Like, I believe at the moment,
I think the biggest difference is the defense.
why they have good defense as well. They have
Don't
more
you think?
coverage than you.
Don't you think they have no one to replace Trent?
They have Gomez.
Okay, something happens to the defense. You trust in Gomez, and then also
And the right back.
Simican. I trust Simican, but what about the
Tsimikas
center
is
back
not
situation?
great, but yeah,
What about the center back situation?
they have
Matip is
Matip, Konate.
done out here now.
Matip is better than Kivior, isn't he?
Nah, I think they would rather have
No,
Kivior.
Matip is better than Kivior. Don't give me that.
Matip is old
Would
now,
you
man.
take
He's
him
done.
by your team and replace Kivior with Matip?
No, I wouldn't want Matip.
No. You're not listening to the question. If I ask you tomorrow, head to head, would you replace Kivior with Matip for this season?
Yeah, I would have Kivior. Kivior is 23 years old. He can also play at left back, and he's a left-sided center back. He's a solid player. I think people underestimate. We have a lot of good young players on our team that I know they don't have the experience of a Matip who've won league titles and Champions Leagues, but because he's won those things and he's done it before, people are going to overrate him.
I actually think Matip is good cover.
Fair enough.
It's good cover, to be honest. But anyway, guys, listen.
I think you see how exposed they are the moment that Konate and Van Dijk are not there together.
I actually think Konate is overrated.
Ooh. What do you mean by that?
He's a very reactive defender. I like my defenders to be proactive, read the game before it happens. He makes mistakes.
Is it because of injuries?
So I don't care the reason. I didn't say a reason. You didn't ask me why he does them. You asked me why he's overrated. So my reasons for overrated: he does a lot of mistakes, very reactive defender, and I'm comparing him to William Saliba, and he has more experience than William Saliba, if I'm not mistaken. He's 24 years old. Saliba's 22, and I'm watching Saliba, and for me, when I say overrated, Konate is a good defender, very good defender, but he needs someone next to him to hold his hand. Like, he needs a Van Dijk, right? William Saliba by himself reads the game very well, reads the play before it happens, makes defending look easy, can pass the ball better than Konate. Stop me if I'm wrong. Right? People in the chat, you think I have an agenda. I'm explaining to you, but you just don't want to freaking listen. You just stuck in your head. William Saliba plays the ball on the ground better, reads the game better than Konate. Konate physically is stronger, but William Saliba isn't a small guy. When I say that Konate is overrated, I don't mean he's a bad defender. I mean The people that think Konati is at Saliba's level, right, or Diaz's level, you are mistaken. You are mistaken. William Saliba this season has been playing at a level that I think can reach peak Van Dijk. Peak Van Dijk. Like Konati is a good defender.
Saliba's
Do
still
you know
young.
what I mean by a reactive and a proactive defender, right?
Yeah. Somebody who takes the initiative to sniff out the danger and get rid of the
Exactly.
chance.
Reads the game better, makes it look easy for you. You're a
Yeah.
fan sitting, you know your defender is running into this pass before he sees it. He looks at the playmaker and knows what the playmaker is gonna do. That's my point. That's why William Saliba, when you watch him closely, the man knows the game. Who does this? Van der Ven. Do you know that Van der Ven is so good in reading the play before it happens? That's why I like Van der Ven more than Romero. That's my opinion. Because I think Romero sometimes reads the game, but I believe that Van der Ven uses his speed really well. So he is very good in reading the game. That's why I think Van der Ven can reach levels very high. I still think
I
Romero
think
is a
it's
little
always
better.
good when you have the fair balance of somebody who's proactive and somebody who's very aggressive and that just wipes out people, takes the ball and clears it out. That's why I think it works with Gabriel and
With
Saliba and Van
I
de Ven
actually
and
think
Romero.
Gabriel is good, but he isn't up to. He is prone to mistakes sometimes. Uh, I think he's good. He is not at Saliba's level. I
I
think
haven't
Gabriel for
seen.
me is similar to Konate.
I would compare Gabriel to,
Konate,
like, you know how
reactive defender, very strong, very good in the air.
I'd compare him to yeah, like Christian Romero.
Really?
Yeah, he's really good on the ball. Also, people underestimate how good Gabriel Magalhaes is on the ball. I don't see him make too many mistakes nowadays. People always talk about him making mistakes. I think majority of the mistakes that he made were like two high-profile mistakes that really made people annoyed. But he hasn't made any mistakes. I can't remember the last time he made a mistake. I think it was the Wolves game back end of last season, or a penalty he gave away. Was it? When did he give away the penalty? Was it against West Ham? I think that.
Well, I know you're going crazy in the chat, Will. I know that I can see it. Saliman is saying Gomez, ATT, I think you meant Trent Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Matip. Arguably Liverpool's second best defender when fit, Matip, Virgil van Dijk, Konsa, and Robertson. And you forgot Semikas, my friend. That's a big defensive line, by the way. They have 8 defenders. I think that's a lot, actually. 8 defenders. You don't have 8 defenders.
No,
You
we
actually
do.
don't.
We do. Tomiyasu, you go
Zinchenko.
Ben White,
No, let's
you
go from
got
the left to the right.
no,
Zinchenko,
no,
Tomiyasu.
let me just name it. So you got Tomiyasu, you got Ben White, you got Timber, Saliba, Gabriel. That's already 5. Then I go Zinchenko, Kavior, and that's 7 right there.
And the injured Timber. No, you counted Timber.
I
So you
counted
have
Timber.
7.
Who's missing? Oh, Tomiyasu. That's 8.
One Arsenal defense are Tomiyasu, Zinchenko. Oh, you forgot Cedric Suarez.
Forget Cedric. He doesn't count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 7 defenders, basically.
7
Just 7.
quality defenders.
7. Well, not quality, because I know you guys rate Tomiyasu. I think Tomiyasu is good. Isn't elite.
Tomiyasu is amazing. Both feet. He can play center back, right back, left back. He is amazing. He's a Swiss Army knife.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say master of none, but that's the
Master
next
of
sentence.
none. What does he excel at?
I think it's just his quality to be able to play both feet and to be able to take the ball under pressure in any situation. I wouldn't say, you know how you have defenders who cannot receive the ball in certain situations or certain areas of the pitch, they're going to cause you problems. He's not that guy. If you give him the ball in any situation, he'll receive it with either foot, and he'll be able to obtain it under pressure with no issue.
Yeah. Okay. You have to go.
No.
All right. You know I never did long shows.
Oh, no.
But anyway, I wanna get your opinion.
But we do agree that Arsenal's midfield is better than their midfield.
Yes, because you're balanced more. Like, because I'm a believer. People don't believe me. I'm a believer in Emil Smith Rowe. I'm actually a believer. I believe if this guy gets a 5, 6 games run, you will see a different animal. You know that I know you know as an Arsenal fan that he was the highest rated youngster when he was on the youth team.
Yeah, Saliba.
No, no, no.
They called him
Emma
the
Smith
Mbappe.
Rowe. Smith Rowe.
Oh, Smith Rowe. The thing is, the guy, he lost a lot of his confidence after being out for the
Yeah,
majority.
that's what I'm telling you. 5 games in a row against slow positions like lower league teams. This guy, bro, this guy is so good.
I don't think
He
Arteta
is
trusts him
good,
anymore.
bro.
I don't think Arteta trusts him anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't, but he trusts Kai Havertz. That's why
He's
he's stupid.
Listen. I think the reason why we got Kai Havertz is different from what people think. I think we got Kai Havertz to be outball, to be somebody who, when we need to change the game and we need to play more direct and bypass the midfield, we have that player who can receive the ball under pressure and hold it up. We've seen it what he did in the Community Shield. We've seen what he did against Man City and even against Chelsea when he came on. It allows us to play a little bit more direct, straight from the goalkeeper into the final third. And I know it sounds crazy, but we basically signed him to
It
be a
sounds
plan B.
crazy, 100%. You know
It
why it
sounds
sounds
crazy, but we
crazy?
basically signed him to play as a plan
No,
B at
no,
this
no,
point.
that's wrong. I'll tell you why that's wrong. No banter, nothing. Because when he came to the club first, he was tried as a left eight. So Arteta thought, I can get this guy to play as an eight on the left, and he failed.
And
Now he sees now that, yes, this guy can be a weapon off the bench, getting long balls, physical against defenders, because he has a good touch, though. Don't get me wrong. He has a good touch. So for me, he bought him wrong. I think this is Arteta's mistake. And he has tried to shoehorn him, and it didn't work. And now he's finding a solution for it. But the money's gone. You're not getting
you
back the
wanna know
money.
something? I always thought he was going to use him as a second striker from the left eight position. He
He
could still
didn't.
do that. He could still do it, but I don't think he's given up on that potentially.
You don't think he given up on the eight left eight?
No, I don't think he has. I think he still might play him there on the odd occasion against the lesser team. We might see it against Sheffield United.
Salimani here is responding to you. He said, other than balance, I'm not even sure Arsenal got the better midfield.
Fair
Balance
enough.
wise, the missing a left. The problem is Liverpool has 3 guys, okay, that will absolutely complete your team. If you have Gravenberch or Sabozlai or McAllister as your left eight, your team is complete.
Wait. Let me ask you a question. I was quick to give Liverpool's attack over Arsenal's attack, but would you rather have uh, Mo Salah, Jota, Gakpo, Luis Diaz, and Nunes, or would you rather have Arsenal's Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus,
And Trossard,
Trossard, and then from there it gets shaky with the likes of
Liverpool, because they have
you, you,
Mohamed Salah. Because they have
because of
Mohamed Salah.
Mohamed Salah, right?
One of the main reasons, because they have Mohamed Salah. And I think Diaz and Martinelli are similar, are very similar
I
actually.
think Martinelli is better.
Martinelli is a better finisher. I think Diaz is the better dribbler. And also think that both of them can get kind of similar output. But I think that both are similar. Like I would be struggling to choose one of them to start, because Mohamed Salah is like, you don't know. Like when you are bad and you still get goals, you're like, this is an
What
attribute that
about
doesn't.
Saka? Saka does the same thing, but
I
he
like
gets
Saka
this
as well,
more.
but I think Mohamed Salah, when you're struggling and you have Mohamed Salah on the pitch, sometimes he pops up with like strange stuff. You remember the goal against Spurs? You remember the goal against Everton, Manchester City, when he dribbled like 3 guys? Like he comes up with stuff that are like, and he does it often. That's what I mean. So I think Mohamed Salah in the midfield, though, Arsenal has everything that Liverpool doesn't have, which is DMs. You have 3 DMs that can play for Liverpool, while Liverpool have 3 8s that will complete. If you have, I'm telling you, imagine a midfield of Sabozlai, Odegaard, and Declan Rice. Just think about it. Imagine a midfield with McAllister as a left eight, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard. How good is that midfield? How good is that midfield? And imagine Liverpool if they have McAllister, Sabozlai, and Declan Rice. Arsenal has everything that Liverpool needs, and Liverpool has everything that Arsenal needs. That's why, but I still think that Arsenal are more balanced because they have Emil Smith Rowe, they have Fabio Vera. I believe Trossard can play left 8 as well. Uh,
So this is where it comes down to tactics, and it's on the managers to make the difference. Because if the two teams are very similar, but they have key parts missing, it's going to come down to see how Klopp manages and how Arteta manages.
yeah,
And
Salamani is saying I'll take Rice, Ryan, Gravenberch, and Sabozla. 100%. Do you know what? Is this midfield can battle Man City's midfield?
which one? This three.
Rice, Declan Rice, maybe McAllister and Sabozlai, or Declan Rice, Gravenberch, and Sabozlai. They can battle
I
Rodri,
think Odegaard has to be in that midfield. If you're going
Odegaard
to
as well. Like I believe like Odegaard, but the problem is on form. Odegaard, Sabozlai, Declan Rice. I think that midfield would be absolutely phenomenal. The problem with Odegaard again is form now. Guys, over 170 of you here. Can we get the likes to 150?
hit that like button, guys. Come on.
Guys, the like button is supposed to subscribe to the channel if you're new. I think we're the only channel that is live now. I actually think so. Anyway, least I wanted to get your opinion on Chelsea, but
You know what? I think Chelsea are going to do much better now that they've turned the corner slightly. They're going to have tougher opposition, so they're not going to face as many low blocks, and it might benefit them facing some of the bigger teams because they have less expectations on their shoulders, and it allows them to just play their game. If they lose, they're expected to lose, and they're going to be facing teams that are not going to be as defensive against them. So it's going to give them more freedom on the pitch.
I
So it
said
might
that.
actually.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for them now that they have the tougher opposition coming around the corner. And this game against Brentford is probably their last team that's going to play with a low block against them for a little while. So they got Tottenham, Man City, Manchester United, and Newcastle coming up. So let's see how they do in those games.
And Brighton.
Brighton too, yeah.
Yeah, I believe Arsenal, Chelsea, they won't get top 4, but I believe they are doing all right.
Yeah.
I always believe they looked good. They just lacked experience and they lacked confidence. And I still believe that they dropped these 2 points against Arsenal because of experience. One goal, your head goes down, everybody's out of place, everybody's out of position, nobody's in the right place, nobody's doing the right tackles. That's experience, isn't it?
They just need their attack to click. If their attack clicks, they can beat majority of these teams. It's just it's just their team has been disjointed with a lot of injuries.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I believe they're doing all right. Manchester United. Why you're
Yeah.
laughing?
What about them?
Do you believe so? I was watching the Georgia Kilia thing, and some of the opinions about people said that Eric Ten Hag should definitely be there next season. Do you think that Eric Ten Hag, no matter what happens this season, should stay in the place?
Eric Ten Hag should be given the time to actually get the players and do a proper overhaul because he doesn't have the players to play the style of football that he wants. If they get rid of him at this moment in time, they need to go and decide what they want to be. Do they want to be a counter-attacking football team, or do they want to play what do you call it? A brand of football that's more attractive and more like what Pep Guardiola and Arsenal are playing, because the manager should stay. The manager shouldn't be the one that's sacked. They've had too many players that have failed managers still there. So I think it's the players that should be going, and the manager should stay. But if they do sack the manager, they're gonna have to figure out what they're doing. They don't have a director of football, bro. This is what's the issue with Manchester United. They don't know what they're doing.
Nobody knows what they're doing. I
Yeah.
promise you, nobody knows what they're doing. I have no idea.
Their
Like,
recruitment is all over the place also. Ten Hag's signings have all been terrible.
is it his mistake though?
It is his mistake. He needs to let people know, yo, at Ajax, I wasn't doing these things. There's people in charge helping me. I need the help. Sometimes people need the help. Klopp, as good as he is, he needed to be told Julian Brandt is not the guy. Go sign Mo Salah.
I hear you, but some managers like Pep Guardiola offers 1, 2, 3 options, and that's different from a club to a club. Arteta likes certain players, and I believe Arteta pick
But
some players.
majority of Arteta's signings. Look at this. Ange Postecoglou's signings. Some of them have majority of
He
them
doesn't
have
have any signings actually.
okay. The new signings that they've gotten, they've
Yeah.
worked out. You go to Pochettino. Cole Palmer is already looking like it's a good signing. You go to Arsenal. We've Declan Rice. Obviously, it's going to be working. But then you go down the line. You look at some of the signings Mikel Arteta has made throughout his years. They've worked. You go to Manchester United. How many signings besides Martinez and Martinez was a good signing. Casemiro's already starting to look like 1 year into the job that he might not be there for much longer. Really and truly, what has he done? Has he improved any of the signings that he's made? Has he improved anybody? So, in one hand, you can say the manager's the problem. In the other hand, you can say the recruitment's the problem. It's really a situation where if Manchester United sack another manager, they're basically admitting that they failed in recruiting the right person and recruiting the right players again, and they're just going to be starting all over from square one once again. And I just don't know if they want to do that in the middle of a sell of a club.
All right. I don't know what. To be honest, I'm not talking about Manchester United. I don't want to talk about them. I feel the club is in disarray, and I don't know. Like every time we talk about them, they win a game. So I'm
Let
gonna
me
stop
ask you this
talking about them.
question:
Go ahead.
Don't you think Tottenham fans are getting ahead of themselves?
No,
What? Don't you think these guys talking about this team is back, they're going to compete for the league this season, like Deji was saying on the terrace? Don't you think that's crazy?
no.
You think they can compete for the league this season?
I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna tell you the evidence. It's Arsenal Football Club.
Okay.
Every time I talk about this, people don't believe me. I said last year after about 10, 12 games, I said this Arsenal look different. This Arsenal look very good in the eye. This Arsenal getting results. I think there was a Crystal Palace game last year where he scored 2 goals, and then Crystal Palace like let up fire. They started doing this, and slowly, easily, you saw out the game, right? I think Spurs same. Fulham tried, did this, but they don't have the quality, and Spurs stopped them. And at the end, they won the game. At the end, Spurs dominated against Brentford. Yes, they conceded a goal, but they came back and scored at the end, which is fun, but that's only one game. My point is, I looked at Arsenal last year, and I believe, and I'm going to die on this hill, if Saliba didn't get injured, you were going to be very close to win the league. Much
Okay.
close, right? I believe, I don't assume injuries, right? I believe if without any other competition, if Spurs keep the starting lineup fit, with the likes of Bentancur coming back, with the likes of Hoiberg being a little bit, maybe they can hold on. I'm not saying they're going to win the league because they don't have the experience to win the league. To go over the line, it needs experience. But I believe that Spurs, because they get 23 points, I think they can be there and thereabout. When I mean there and thereabout, I mean like you last year. Game week 34, game week 35, mathematically, you still could have won the league. Is that correct? You lost the league in game week 36,
Yeah,
officially.
I think so.
But we knew that game week 31, you lost the league. We knew that. You remember? We knew that when you dropped the point against the other teams. I believe that Spurs fans have all the right to say it's a new manager. These are new players. We're playing good football. We never had good football and results as well, right? Why can't we say that we're going to be there and thereabout? What is so different between us and Arsenal last year? Why did Arsenal compete last year? We can do the same. That's my answer to you. Is that convincing? Challenge me.
If their 11 stays fit, they will be extremely competitive throughout the
That's
season.
it. That's the whole point, Igal.
I hear you
That's
there,
the whole
right?
point.
I hear you there. But unfortunately, injuries do happen. That's
They
one.
do, but
Number
not to
one.
every team.
Number two, Tottenham are somewhat of an unknown commodity, and going into the season, they've not gotten the majority of the respect from teams going into the season. So they were giving them a lot. They were playing a lot more open games. They
Yes,
might they might not be facing as much low blocks as the teams like Man City or Arsenal or even Liverpool would face. So as the season progresses, more teams are going to be more defensive against them and not as open, which then doesn't allow them to have as much space or time on the ball. And when these teams play those low blocks, where they're going to have to find more solutions to unlock those teams, and we're going to have to see if they can adapt as the teams adapt in the way they play them. Because to start the season, they're very much an unknown commodity. As the season goes on, you have a larger sample size. There's gonna be teams that find the solution to how to stop them, and that might be the blueprint. And once the blueprint on how to stop you is given,
Be
you
too
need to
late,
adapt your game
like you.
slightly. And we haven't seen them have to adapt their game too much, in my opinion, so
Be
far.
too late, Egal, like you last year. You
Yeah,
were a
yeah.
surprise last year. It was too
It wasn't last
by the
year that
time
that
teams
happened to us. It was
huh?
the year before that when we finished fifth. We had moments in the season where we were unplayable, and then we would have moments in the season where we dropped 3 games on the bounce, and it's because one team found a way to stop us, and then it would take us 3 games for Arteta to figure out how to do it again, how to beat those teams that do this same strategy.
I think they have so many elements in their game that, like you last year, it was Saka, it was Martinelli, it was Gabriel Jesus. When Gabriel Jesus was not there, it was Odegaard, it was Xhaka as well. Some games I remember Partey scored with that left against Lloris in that Spurs game. Wasn't didn't Partey score that
And
wonder goal with
Bentancur coming
Brentford?
back is going to be massive for them. How he adapts.
Exactly, that's my point. They have Bentancur. Also, they have January. We're already at the end of October. Does that
I,
make
I've,
sense?
I've I've never seen Tottenham strengthen as much as they did
But
this
you have never
January
seen
window.
Tottenham with Ange Postecoglou.
When they strengthened in January and they got what do you call it,
Kulusevski and Bentancur.
Kulusevski and Bentancur,
It
that
was
was
great.
different. That was different.
So why not this year? Why are you assuming the worst for Spurs?
I'm
That's
not
what I
actually
don't understand.
assuming anything.
No, you
The
like
only the
you're
only thing I'm
assuming that.
saying, the only
Huh?
thing I'm saying, and I think these are valid points. One, injuries can happen to
Yes,
anybody, so we cannot rule that out. They do depend on certain players like everyone else does. But at the same time, Tottenham are more prone to injuries at this moment in time, because if they do have an injury to a Basuma, I don't look at that team and I don't say Højbjerg can do what Basuma does. If they lose James Madison, I don't see anyone in that team that can weather the storm for a James Madison loss. If they lose Son, their most threatening goal threat is gone from that team. And then you go to their defense. They're one center back injury away from having Eric Dyer back into this team, or Ben Davis. So I'm not. They are very thin
I agree with you.
outside of their
If I
11.
agree with you on
They're
that,
very
once you
thin
tell me
outside of their
if,
11.
Egal, once
They're,
you tell me
they're
if, I'll believe you.
no, no, no.
If
There's 2 things. They're very thin outside of that 11, and also they're having one of the best new manager bounces in a long time. This is the
you're
best.
calling this a new manager bounce,
This is the best a manager coming into a team has done
no,
in his
no, no,
first
no.
9 games. You got to give them credit. I have given them credit. I've given them a lot of credit for their attack, the way that they performed in these games, the way that they're not doing things that they used to do where they normally drop points. But eventually, there's going to be a team that hits them in the mouth, and until they face that first loss, we have to see how they bounce back. It's just a reality. We cannot sit here and say everything is going perfect, everything's going your
No,
way,
no, it's not
and then
perfect.
and
But
then it's
but
gonna
I'm
and it's
I'm
gonna
I'm
continue.
analyzing these 9 games like I did. This is, by the way, 9 games is quarter of the season. People, you guys don't understand. It's only 9 games, but it's quarter of the season. And not everybody's Manchester City when they can have a second part of the season completely different. Not
Yeah.
every team is like this. Like there's only one Manchester City, right? In the league. It's one. My point is, I'm looking at these 9 games and I say, I am also looking at the next 4 games. Crystal Palace away. Their toughest game is Chelsea and it's at home. What's the conversation going to look like when it's 13 games in and they only dropped 4 points? What's the conversation looking like then?
You're gonna take them a lot more serious, but at this moment
That's
in time,
it.
all we can go is based off what we've seen. And from
Yes.
what we've seen, they they
You
had
look
a
dangerous.
game. One second, they had a game against Liverpool where there was a dodgy decision. They had a draw. They had a good result versus Arsenal where they ended up drawing it. You got to give them credit there. But a lot of those other performances have been against lesser teams. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they played Burnley, they played Sheffield United. If I'm not mistaken, they played Luton Town. And did they also play Bournemouth?
Yes.
So that is 4 out of the bottom 4 teams.
But
Dare I say,
however,
they should be beating those teams regardless, and that's where they scored a lot of, if I'm not mistaken, they scored 4 goals versus Burnley, 2 goals versus Bournemouth. They battered some of these smaller teams. So you gotta give them credit for the results, but at the same time say, you know what, in context, some of these results, previous years they wouldn't have gone their way, but right now they're battering some of these smaller teams.
okay, what if they go to Crystal Palace tomorrow and win?
If they face a Crystal Palace team that are playing with a low block and they unlock that block and they beat them 1-0, that would be what I would be usually expect. If they go to Crystal Palace and smash them 4-5-0, then I'll be like, yo, you know what? This is surprising.
I think we'll see. I think we'll see because after Crystal Palace, I believe they have Chelsea at home, and then they have Wolves away, then Aston Villa, and then it goes to hell from there because they play West Ham, Newcastle, and then they play
I
Manchester
want to see
City.
that matchup versus Man City this season because usually they get points off
They're gonna
Man
get
City.
smashed.
But this year, if they try to play the way they play, let's see how it goes against Man City.
I think maybe I'm just smarter. But anyway, I want to thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you, buddy.
No
An
worries,
hour and
man.
a half. You have been on the longest show in Footy Judge Mo since that started. Guys, Egal's channel is in the description. There's over 160 of
Nice.
you here. It's in the description. It's just a click away. You don't have to copy, paste on a tab, anything. You just have to click it. It will take you to his channel. Give him subscription. Like his latest video or two if you want. Thank you for every. Someone just sent us a super chat. And this is the last time. This is the last 2 minutes you can send super chats. So please stop gaslighting Spurs. I am analyzing what I see in front of me. You guys want me to lie. I did the same. Go watch my videos last year for Arsenal. Everybody said, Mo, you're overpraising Arsenal. I'm like, I analyze what I see in front of me. That's what I do. People want me to lie. I don't lie. Alhamdulillah, I don't lie. I analyze. I lie. Maybe I don't lie. I have an agenda against a couple of players. It's Jack Grealish and maybe Nunes. Maybe. I just don't. I think but Jack Grealish has improved. But thank you everybody that watched us. Thank you, Egal, for joining. Give Egal a subscription, guys. It's in the description. Like the video. Get us to 150 likes before you go. The like button is underneath your live chat. Simple. Doesn't cost you a penny. Do it. Get me to 150 likes now, right on the side, right here. Simple. Thank you, everybody that watched me. Tomorrow we have a preview. Good one for you. And we'll see you guys later. Thank you. We're out.
Don't know.